started to go out a lot more with my girlfriends, more than ever. I started getting a lot of attention.
So the one thing I hate about my ex is what an amazing person he was to me.
Why are all men trash?
The women's world and men are just living in it.
So social media caused me to get a divorce.
Even the most perfect man's marriage comes falling apart someday.
Women have a problem with submission because they view it as it's something that's negative.
We used to marry till death do us part. Today we marry till love dies.
So earlier this year, I ended a relationship and cut off an engagement from a great man.
In today's generation, being a great man can end your marriage.
Think about this. The divorce rates, approximately 50% divorce rates in the USA, and 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. So who really tends to give up the most? By the numbers,
How dare you?
it's women.
Society we're creating right now, more and more men don't want to get married. And I get why. There is almost zero upside for men getting married. This isn't me saying that men shouldn't get married, or women, but think about what society is telling men about what being a man is. Tell about society is fucking men hardcore for getting married. If you get married and you get divorced, a woman takes 50% of whatever you have. 80% of relationships, the man is the biggest provider. So that's a big fuck right off the bat. What are you getting in exchange for that? Second, if you have kids with her, you're fucked, because the government doesn't think that you deserve shit. So even good dads who try to stay in the kid's life are fucked. So there's a lot of men going, why the fuck would I do this? The good news is that will correct itself, because eventually then people start going, oh, right? When you create mistakes, you only create more error. Error creates more error. So we've gone so far the other direction that more and more men are going like, why the fuck would I get married?
Why the fuck would I get married? That's a great question, and an important one that every grown man has thought about at least once or twice. There's little to zero in marriage for men. No matter what you do, you will remain powerless to your fate at the end of the day. Many great men who did all they could do still ended up getting separated. Why? Because of the type of women they married. This generation of modern women have turned dating and marriage into something entirely different that any man who decides to get into a marriage with one of them is sentencing himself into a prison and running full heads on into a glaring trap. Marriage in this generation is like a funeral with cake, like a signing over ceremony for everything you've worked so hard for. But the best description for modern marriage is this: marriage is like playing Russian roulette. That's real talk, because whether the marriage works out or not does not depend on you. You could give a woman everything, and her reason for leaving would be because you're too perfect for her. A marriage is meant to be a relationship of mutual benefit in which both partners give their all to the union without withholding anything from one another. Looking about, you'll find that many women express a desire to settle down and be married. While this may seem like a real desire, many of these women have other goals in mind, and many of them don't even know what it means to be a wife. When you think about it, a lot of women are ready and prepared to get married. They are just waiting for a man who would ask for their hand in marriage. But men are not ready to do that. And mind you, this is not because men are scared of raising kids, buying a nice home for the family, wedding costs, or increase in cost of living. In fact, men take this as their duty and responsibility and are always prepared to do it all. So why is this union not happening? And most times when some of the men who are ready to marry want to take a wife, they go outside the country to foreign lands to find a wife. That only points to one thing: Western women. Why are men not ready to go into marriages with Western women? The major reason is because most modern women have ulterior motives for going into marriages. I have heard some talk about marriages like it's a business venture. They go, I just have to be with him for 2 years or more, then we would already have children. I will be set for life, and then I can leave him and be with someone I truly love. Look at the top 10 wealthiest women in the world. I don't know if the list would have changed a little, but when I last checked, 6 out of the top 10 got their money from divorces. It's a business to them. Men want something serious and want to settle down. The women want to siphon a hard-working man's money. It shouldn't be so. Men are done giving up all they have dedicated their lives to, everything that has given them purpose, and the benefits of their devoted hard work. Men are sick and tired of letting a moody, misguided woman steal all they've worked so hard to create when she's nowhere to be found. Nowadays, getting married is a gamble where there are more risks than rewards. Imagine partaking in a game wherein victory has no advantages or disadvantages. However, when you lose, your heart is torn from you. I have witnessed men move from having wonderful lives to being broke, depressed, and homeless, destitute after a marriage that did not work out. That will forever be scary. And no man will want to just venture into that without assurance that they won't end up that way. And sadly, there's no way you're getting that assurance from Western women. In some extreme instances, a man has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for failing to pay child support for a child who is not even his. In other cases, the child for whom a man pays child support does not even belong to him. Nowadays, women are searching for victims rather than husbands. Before agreeing to marry a man, a woman thinks about how she would benefit from the marriage, how large his pocket and assets are, and whether or not to end it. Like I said, nowadays women view marriages as business dealings in which the man is the prize and the divorce court acts as the middleman. Men are staying away from these cold-blooded ladies because they know that going up against them in court is also a losing struggle. Society is twisted to always support them, you just can't win. That's why men are sick of being the victims of these callous women. Now, men would prefer to be alone than to become a pet that needs to be rewarded and treated with respect, a nice supper, and sex, because society favors women more than males, and this makes women in many households the new bosses. For young single men, this is a hard pill to swallow. On the balance scale, marriage is now a 90-10 chance rather than a 50-50 one, and it's a very risky investment for men. Men can deal with the marketplace, stocks, real estate, companies, and competition to provide for their families. But they now also need to know how to win the war at home because their partner, who was once their partner, is now their competitor, waiting for a mistake in business. A man's self-worth is destroyed when you take everything he has done for you at his own expense and throw it in his face, treating him like he has done nothing. For this reason, men would prefer to be successful, alone, take care of their mothers, and if they so choose, have children who will carry on their names with foreign traditional women. Anyway, that will be all for today on Latest Juice. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons and also click the notification bell so you can be the first to know when I drop a new video. If you enjoyed watching this video, then surely you would love my other videos. Make sure to check them. See you again soon. Cheers.